Okay, and I think we're live on YouTube. Yes, we are. Yeah, usually it does. Okay, change this to this. Hello, hello. Pascal, how are you? Also, good. Right, let's see. Okay, I think we're live on YouTube as well. Okay, so people in YouTube, can you give me feedback whether you can see and hear me as well as the Zoom call? Yeah, there's always a delay. Yeah, there's always a delay. We keep having this discussion every single time when I do live stream. Okay, so right, I posted a sell option on gold that it should melt down because I think that the data is going to be better than expected. Okay, if you're not speaking, mute your mic, please. Other than that, I think we're good to go. We're still waiting just for NFP. It's going to be 27 minutes, so we have some time to do some discussion. If you guys have any questions.
To see the moves?
No, because I'm gonna be solely focusing on gold. Nothing else.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Sal. How are you?
Hi. Good. Hi, everyone, all my friends.
Good.
Hi, Dee. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Asal.
Ah. How you doing, Aaron? Farhan?
Oh, I'm good, I'm good. I didn't go into the office today, so I'm not on the toilet waiting for the NFP, so we're all good.
Good. God, someone's really loud. Some background noise. Who is it? T.
Natasha.
Let me find the culprit. I couldn't. Okay, right, we have 118 viewers on YouTube. It's a good turnout. And let's see what we have on gold. Shall we do some analysis?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's have a look on past NFP data, shall we?
Ja, men sen fick jag inte ifrån någon.
If I just find the one who have really... Okay, so if you're not speaking on the Zoom, please mute your mics. And welcome everyone, all the YouTube viewers and all the members in the Zoom. Today we have NFP. Who knows what is NFP? Apart from that, it's important. Okay.
I think it's the number of employed people in this month.
Yeah, so it signals to investors about the health of the US economy. Now, why do we look at NFP? We look at NFP because it's an economic indicator, which means that the Fed is actually closely monitoring the economic indicator numbers, mainly because they derive the policy strategy from the health of the US economy. So I'm just trying to figure out how to mute everyone in the Zoom chat because someone's really loud. Okay, so the non-farm payroll basically accounts for about 80% of the workers who contribute to the US GDP. So that's you can see that it's an important number. Now the NFP is also closely monitored by the Fed as they show whether and how quick the economy and inflationary pressure are growing. So central bankers consider fast rates of job gains as potentially leading to an increase in inflation. And you can see on the chart that there is not much correlation between NFP and gold in the longer term, because most new traders would consider that yes, there is a correlation because higher job numbers mean strong US dollar, therefore it's negative for gold. Yes, you can bet on that one short term, but in the longer term it's more important the economic policy and the strategy behind the Fed. So what is the current state of the monetary policy? If you don't know what is the current strategy of the monetary policy, then it's really dangerous to trade NFP and make simple conclusions, because correlation is not causality. You have to remember this. And going back to NFP, how you should trade it. Now, if you look at the textbook economics, you can expect that good news for the US labor market is or actually better than expected. NFP reading is positive for the dollar, so it's bad for gold as it becomes more expensive. Now this is the textbook's variation, but gold is more concerned about the monetary policy than dollar strength. Now in reality, what depends on what is the current monetary policy strategy of the Fed and how much is the information priced into the markets. Today is critical US non-farm payrolls data because it could cement the increased pace of tapering at the December FOMC meeting, which may be triggered a brief USD rally. So just to summarize everything I said, and this is the core concept which you should focus on, that currently, because we know that the Fed is not going to raise interest rate, meaning that they're leaving inflation to roam freely in the economy, but they don't just leave it as it is, because what they said is obviously started to reduce the money supply in the economy by tapering, i.e. reducing the quantitative easing, the bond purchase. And in the last testimony of Mr. Powell, one of my good friend, he actually said that they consider increasing the amount of tapering, meaning that they're going to increase the money they withdraw from the market, which is not good for gold. But if we have a higher than expected job reading, that's going to be bullish for the dollar, because that's going to be bullish or hawkish for the Fed, meaning that they're going to definitely go ahead with the higher number or higher amount of tapering in the US economy, which meaning that better than expected data, so above 550,000K, sell gold. Anything below or worse than expected, I think gold we should buy. But the problem is that during the NFP, it's not always as simple, because we have so many market participants entering the market and entering into speculative position. And that's why you see on gold that before NFP, for about hours, not much happening, maybe starts to go up. And then during NFP, you see these massive whiplashes, 10, 20, 30, even $40. And that's because so many speculative traders are entering into the market. And I don't advise anyone to trade around NFP for this particular reason. But once we're out of the woods, so about 30 minutes after the NFP, when we had these massive whiplashes out of the way, then you can start trading, because once the market cleared and, you know, all the weak hands have been shaken off, then we should see where the real money, where the smart money is going. And, you know, gold should continue to the original direction, which is now bearish at the moment. So in summary, that was my interpretation of the current monetary policy and the current state of the gold market. Now, how well it's going to work out, or whether it's going to work out or not, I don't know yet. I don't want to give any investment advice. So this is not an investment advice. It's going to be live streaming the NFP. I may comment whether you should buy or not, but it's not an investment advice. So you should not risk more than you can afford to lose on NFP, because, you know, the market is volatile. If you knew, you shouldn't trade NFP at all. Only trade NFP if you know what you're doing. Any questions so far, or did you understand my understanding about NFP?
I think so. I think you're basically saying is, you know, we basically wait until see what the real figures are to determine where the market's going to go, rather than just, you know, put something in with your whiplashing. It can actually, you know, cause massive losses, or it could cause obviously gains, but we're not sure.
Yeah. So if I just go back to the main chart, let me just find it. You can see that I'll just delete this one. So the market already started to whiplash. This massive, you know, 42 pips. I still think that it's gonna be a bearish day for gold, but, you know, because we have these massive price movements, I don't like to enter into many trades, or I don't like to trade around NFP. However, I cannot always resist not to trade, because, you know, if opportunity is given, you should take it. But for new traders, I would advise just to watch, because it can easily go south. Okay. Yeah, so now we have 15 minutes on gold. I explained everything that you know, I understand about monetary policy, the relationship with gold, how the labor market affects the monetary policy, and in fact US dollar and gold. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Just to summarize, better than expected data, we should see a sell-off in gold, and worse than expected data, it should be a rally in gold. But, you know, it can go both ways, because I don't know how much is priced into the market. And as for the USD pairs, I think, you know, print above 55,000, we should see a faster fat tapering, so it's bullish for the dollar and bearish for gold. Data below 550,000, or the expected data, should hinder the elevated fat taper, and it's bearish for USD and bullish for gold. But bear in mind that because of the whiplashes, it can easily confuse traders which direction is actually going. So it's
Yes, absolutely, David. Absolutely.
Okay, so I muted the culprit. I think it was Peter. Right. So what's happening in the Zoom meeting?
We are waiting for the NFP to start.
Yeah, it's wait and see. Are you going to trade it?
Maybe I'm gonna see if it's clear. If not, I do nothing.
Yeah,
I generally I wait for the first wave because that can mostly be sometimes it goes first one way and then the other way.
Yeah. If I just go back to the chart I showed you, so this is my collection of data, or you know, this is how I monitor the previous NFPs. And you can see that there is not much correlation, because sometimes when we have better than expected, gold starts to go up, and then you know, we have again a better than expected, and then gold suddenly melts. So there is no clear-cut correlation, because if you look at purely on the chart and the relationship between NFP and gold, there is no correlation. But if you look behind the lines and the readings, and you understand the current state of the monetary policy, that's where you can make better logical correlations and judgments, because you know, everything is affected by monetary policy and not just the labor market number.
I learned somewhere that and now I see that really happened, that when there is news coming out, there's always a spike, but then it makes always the correction from where the spike started.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's
so then you
because...
could say, okay, I'm not going to trade at the news actually, but I wait because it will come back to the original where it started. And when you see the CPI, now gold came the whole way back.
Yeah, but CPI is different than I think it's a little bit different than jobs data, because it's more correlated with monetary policy, because monetary policy is derived from inflation data, and we know what is the stance of Jay Powell and the Fed in general with the monetary policy. If inflation is high, what are they expecting to do? Because the communication from the Fed is designed to be transparent, because it's designed to move markets, but also be transparent enough that they can expect short, medium, and long term. If they have a business, they need transparency, they need certainty in order to plan ahead how to make investment decisions for 2, 3, 5 years. And this is why it's important the Fed has to communicate really transparently, which I don't think they've really managed to do that in the past 7 months, to be honest.
I agree.
But,
because if you look, inflation, it's still there, right? It hasn't disappeared. So that it's strange for gold to go back down, because
exactly, but the Fed has been communicated not very well in the past 4 months, 5 months, because they said that the inflation is transitory and is going to go away. There is no such thing that the inflation is going to go away, because once businesses raise the prices, they would be stupid to reduce the prices. They have elevated fuel cost, higher wages to pay, because they need to lure back workers to factories, warehouses, shops. It's not easy, and still it's really difficult. And we could easily see a worse than expected job numbers data, because you know, many people are afraid to go back to work. And this is not what this isn't my opinion. This is what people think from my personal experience, as well as what the statistics shows in the US, that people are not willing to go back, either because they have childcare problems, they cannot leave the child with you know, daycare or whatever it's called. They're afraid to go back to the workplace because they're not vaccinated. They can't get a job because they're not vaccinated. There's so many other things. So this is based on personal experience as well as the statistics. So we could easily see a worse than expected job numbers data. And if that happens, then the Fed really need to start thinking, because they might not able to go ahead with the increased tapering, because why would they if the economy isn't doing so well? So it's a bit tricky.
An economist that feared that the worst thing that can happen is that they would start increasing the height rate,
Rate hike.
and yeah, and that would be the biggest problem, and not the COVID issue, but like you also say, the monetary policy. So it is better to leave everything as it is now, to not and the tapering how it is, and not to raise rights. How do you say?
Rate hike.
Rate hike.
Yeah.
And that would be better in the long term for the economy, because if they will start to hike rates.
Rate hikes.
Can you repeat that? Rate hike.
Yes.
Then that would be really a disaster.
Yeah, because imagine that fiddling with interest rates, because interest rates, when they change the interest rate, that takes about 8 to 16 months to trickle down in the economy, and that's when they're able to measure the effect of any changes in interest rate. It takes 8 to 16 months. So the Fed really have to be careful about when and how they're going to fiddle with interest rates, and that's why they choose the softer way, which is tapering. That was the sole reason. They didn't want to go full hardcore.
If there will not be too much pressure from what they are doing.
Absolutely. Right.
7 minutes to go.
Yeah. So I sent out the sell setup from this level because I managed to fiddle with my chart. I lost it, but the entry was somewhere around here when the price pushed back up here, and I'm expecting a drop on gold.
Can you not? But I don't do that because I find that very risky. But I see many people that are placing pending orders like 5 minutes before the results come. That you take like 5 pips above, 5 pips beneath, and you take like 2 pips profit. Because
absolutely not.
I don't do it because I find it so dangerous.
Yeah, I mean,
but
what
I
if
know
the price
people
gaps?
who does it, but you really have to know where you place it. Eh?
Ah, shit. So as soon as I switch the camera, people can't hear the zoom in YouTube. Okay, I will make sure that. Let me just. Okay, now you should hear the zoom. If I switch the camera. Can you say something, Pascal? Okay. Wow, we have 60 people in the Zoom.
Bangladesh.
Hi, Ile Boya Batis. The winner. Okay.
Amos,
Yeah.
if you enter this trade, this sell, where would you put the stop loss? Like
very high. So at around 1780 minimum.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
it's
high.
Yeah, but come on, it's NFP. It's gonna be whiplashing a lot. But even if I enter trade,
Sure.
Oh my goodness.
I just had the sell from 74, and when it went down to 66, I put my stop loss to 75. It went all the way back to like 74.80. It hit my stop loss with spread and went all the way down again to 68.
yeah, that's why I say don't trade around NFP, because it doesn't worth it.
Yeah. And I used to be in 70 pips profit, but anyway.
Oh, what have I done?
How many hands are displayed now?
Okay, we have 3 minutes. Farhana, if I would say TP, I would definitely take profit at 17.55, and then if we see a really strong NFP data, you know, gold could easily drop to 17.35.
Don't we have the Fibonacci at what is it, 70.20, 70.24?
Yes, somewhere around that. Why does it look different then? Okay, let me just redraw it. So if you enter here, 17, stop loss should be around 17.80. And we have 1 minute until NFP, ladies and gentlemen.
Suspense, suspense. Is there not someone with the...
Yeah, I did put some music on the suspense music, but I changed it.
Did you sell gold, Thomas?
Mm-hmm.
You're already in the cell.
Oh,
Yeah, I am in a sell, but depending on the data,
Brave. You're very
So-
brave.
it's only a small lot size, so it's compared to my account size. But you know, if we see a worse than expected jobs data, then it could go easily the other way. So be careful. If you don't know what you're doing, don't trade NFP.
Hey.
Wow.
It's up. Yay.
Yeah, it's worse than
Whoa.
expected. Yeah. It's going to
It's
buy
worse.
gold. Buy.
It's worse.
Hmm?
The results are worse.
Yeah. Bullish for gold. Sure, we should buy gold.
Where should the stop loss?
1770, somewhere around that. And TP should be at 1800, the first one.
Whoa, non-farm payrolls, 210K.
It's really bad. So it's gonna be bullish for gold. So place the stop loss just somewhere on the previous low. And
70?
yeah, somewhere on that. So the previous below the previous low, but it's up to your preference. That's why I hate NFP, because they keep pushing the price up and down. Yeah, it's very bad jobs data. It means that nobody wants to go back to work in the US. They still have COVID-related fears. You know, during NFP, you can increase the stop loss just to be safe, but 17. Yeah, that would be too tight, maybe 70, so be below the previous lows. You see this consolidation, so somewhere around 1765. Do you guys enter into a buy?
Yeah, I'm in.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't risk too much. It's you know, price could be volatile. We don't know how the market is going to respond.
I was gonna sell, but I closed it. Manager closed it quickly in profit.
I was in sell as well, because I was expecting a better than expected jobs data, but you know, that's how the market works. The fuck.
So post hit, so I put some
Hey Victor.
buy orders. Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
Where are you from?
Bulgaria.
Ah, I've been to Bulgaria, Sofia.
Sofia.
Yeah,
We have to visit Russia.
I've never been there, but I used to work for a bank, and we had a branch in all over.
Russia is called Small Vienna.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a river town.
Wow, I should visit. I had many colleagues when I used to work for banks. I was managing, God, what was DSK was the bank? Yeah, DSK. It's a big bank.
Yeah.
I used to manage I was the the risk advisor for the capital markets team.
Oh.
That drop.
Yeah, it's not nice, but overall, you know, it's the news. It's bullish for gold, but in the market, anything could happen. I think the reaction is quite muted, so I'm not sure if whether the market participants have anticipated this massive drop in jobs number, because I wasn't expecting this huge miss of jobs data. I mean, come on, 550k versus 210. It's really bad. So it must be bullish for gold. So stop loss is somewhere around 1765. Okay.
So what we're saying, 20 lots on gold.
200 lots. I just remortgaged my house. I put everything on gold. Don't take me seriously, guys. It's don't risk too much. Wow, we have 230 people watching the YouTube stream. This is a personal record. Okay, so just to show you guys on Zoom and YouTube, whatever, conservative entry to this would be if this trend line breaks, and then you wait for the break where it breaks the structure, and then the retest. That's a conservative entry. So if you don't want to risk too much, and when you see that the market gives us that impulse move, that push to the upside, just wait for the retest. Just gonna quickly look on US 30.
US 30 took a rise up, eased back, gone back up again a little bit.
Pardon?
So US 30 reacted upwards and then came back a little bit and is sort of consolidating a little bit higher than it was.
Yeah, I think market participants are a bit confused now, but based on pure economics and fundamentals, you know, worse than expected jobs data, it should be bullish for gold. So I think they're still digesting this news. What is GBP USD doing? Wow. Yeah, so because the worse than expected data should be bearish for USD pairs, meaning that we should see GBP is going up. So if I were to place a trade, it would look like this. But because we have this massive whiplash because of the NFP effect, you have to be trading off. So there's a trade-off. You have to use a bigger stop loss. So this is what GBP would look like. Come on, gold. So Fear in the Zoom just asked whether I entered into a sell. Yes, I was in a sell, but as soon as the jobs data came out, I closed down the sell and entered into a buy position because I expect, for the various reasons and fundamentals, I'm expecting gold to go up. Yeah, what really concerns me is that the reaction of this bad jobs data was not as bullish for gold as I expected, which it's not something that you know, makes me confident in this buy. But you know, if I listen to my, how to say, reasoning and logics, everything I explained at the beginning of the Zoom, I have my trading rules, I have my fundamental analysis, and that's why I entered into a trade. If it goes to the other direction, you know, I'm gonna lose 1% of my trading account, which is not a big deal, but I did everything within my power, so I hope it's gonna go this direction. Thank you, Farhana. You guys still in the Zoom? 63 people watching the Zoom.
Yep.
Wow.
And no one is talking.
If we put the trend line on 15 minutes chart, we can see a rejection from it, so we should go up.
I think no one's talking because everyone's on their phone watching like, fuck, is it gonna go up?
Go up.
Yeah,
go
exactly.
Up, go up. The only way is up.
I think a few of you sweating right now.
I'm trading NFP while in the arcade with my kids. Not so easy.
Sorry, Zeph?
I'm not even in any positions right now.
Oh,
I'm in the arcade with the kids, so I shouldn't have entered any trades.
What is happening? There's so many noise coming from the Zoom.
it was my dog. He fell.
Oh.
Okay. Guys in the YouTube, can you give me some feedback about how is the sound, the video, everything is okay with the stream? Because my laptop died, so I can't do the monitoring, but it should be fine.
In a world where traders get scammed and fake gurus freaking hate you, a hero will rise. From this month, the Alpha FX is available in pay monthly subscriptions, which gives you access to daily analysis on major FX pairs, intraday setups, US 30, and gold. Weekly live trading, weekly webinars, access to private Telegram groups with 24/7 support. Become a professional market analyst today. All this for £49.99 per month. Visit alphafx.eu. Available for the first 50 subscribers only.
And welcome back. So Steve-O just asked, sounds nice, how do we get into the Zoom? That's only a small, but privileged people can enjoy. If you want, you can go to my website. You can find all of the available plans. I do a membership-based subscription and different packages. So I teach people everything I learned because I'm a professional trader in bond markets and I love technical analysis and economics. So I created this course. You can, we have many videos about gold scalping, swing trading. We do weekly webinars. But I would ask the team who are in the Zoom, what is your opinion so far? Is it worth joining the Alpha FX?
No, I will never do it again. Just kidding. It's really useful. I learned so many things from it.
Thank you. I mean, you scared me for a second because there's 218 people watching live. I think many people would not dare ask this question. But, you know, honesty and transparency is key. So,
Thomas, you know, the main thing for me is that you teach us we should not trade any position. We have to wait. It's very important. It's very important.
yeah, perseverance. I mean, it's key. Patience.
Yeah.
I think also if you're looking to join the signals, I don't think it's the right group, but if you're looking to learn and you learn from other traders, I think it's the right place. Learn from people, you know, who do this, people who are successful, then it's the right place. But if you look at signals, then look somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, signals. If you follow signals blindly, it's not advised, because you know, signal groups. I think most of them are highly scam. When you see these boom boom, take profit hit, and all that crap, you don't know who's on the other end of the signal group. Whereas, you know, I have my uni degree, I have my full professional experience, you know, trackable via the FCA, and you know, quite a few years of knowledge, and I'm happy to discuss and answer questions. But in signal groups, you don't know who's on the other end. I mean, it could be some kid from India, 16 years old, running this massive scam, and you know, losing people's money with this so-called account management. You should never trust people who you don't see, and you cannot ask for the credentials. You should only trust people who are willing to put everything transparently out. Whether it's YouTube or professional experience or trading a live account, anything that, you know, just be transparent. Now going back to gold, let's start to push down, back again. Oh, is it echoing still?
Yeah. It's okay.
Ah, you sound okay. I mean, you can hear my sound okay, but the people in the YouTube, I think they might have some echo. Zoom, microphone. Is it echoing when I switch to the main screen, the Zoom, or is it echoing now? Now it's okay. Yeah, probably when I switch between the cameras. So when I have the full screen and the small screen, I think because probably the camera right here is picking up the sound, so I'm not going to fiddle with it. I'm just going to leave it as it is now. No problems. Okay, guys. Right, this gold price is still haven't decided which direction it wants to go. So you know, if you haven't entered into any trades, maybe you can. I'm not advising to enter into a buy trade, because, you know, we still have a lot of downside potential. So if I just zoom out on the daily time frame, you can see that we have massive rejections on the daily candles, and, you know, we still have a good 200 pips to the downside. Yeah, 183, because we have so much liquidity here. We have this bullish trend line on a higher time frame, so be careful. We don't know what is the current position of speculators, banks. Maybe they want to take some profit and enter into a long position at a discounted price at a lower price. So that's why I say and advise, be careful. Currently I have a running long position, but it's massaging my stop loss. But even if it hits, I'm going to lose 1%, so it's not a big deal. And probably this is the first time I traded for a long time during NFP. So if it goes below 1760, we can see more downside potentials. But it could be very well that price is going to just tap into all of the stop losses right here and then shoot up again. So the best is to wait and let the market shake out the weak hands, and once it breaks this trend line, then
do you think that
sure. Yeah?
70.65 is a good stop loss?
For me, I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm not going to change the stop loss. If it goes to the other direction, hits my stop loss and goes to the other direction, be my guest. You know, on gold I made enough profit this week, so I'm not going to risk or lose more capital on the last trading day of the week. And it's December now, so if you haven't made profit during the year, probably not going to make it or win back all the losses, so there's no rush. Benson just sent into the chat, is it time for Zoom? Good lord.
Anyway, I reached my last limit today. So I'm not gonna trade anymore.
Yeah, next week when, you know, all this NFP height is going away, we're gonna have much better opportunities. But
Yeah,
it's weird how the price didn't respect the economics around NFP, because obviously a bad jobs data is bearish for gold. It's very bearish for gold. So that what you see right now is, I wouldn't say speculation or manipulation, it's just weird, because usually we have more impulse reactions. If it goes any lower and then shoots up, that's manipulation, but there's nothing you can do against it.
Well, I think it's okay to lose when you trade NFP. You need to be normal, not to get mad if you lose NFP.
I honestly, if my position hits stop loss, I don't feel anything.
Exactly.
If I book some profits or take some partials, yes, I am happy, but I try to contain emotions as much as possible, because it's not helping anything in the long run. But after a few years, you become literally emotionless when you place a trade.
Sure.
I think if you have a good motivation for what the reason for your the buy or the sell, then it's okay. Then you say, okay, I saw that, and it matched with that. So if it doesn't work out, okay, that happens.
Yeah. The most important thing and the best advice I can give to anyone in the Zoom and YouTube and new traders, if you do your analysis, let me just zoom out. So the best advice I can give you, if you do your analysis from higher time frame to lower time frame, you add some indicators, you add some fundamentals and economics and whatever you do, and if you do anything and everything within your power that is possible in order to analyze a trade, and you put the effort in, and if it goes against you and hits your stop loss, it's not a loss, it's a learning, because then you have to journal your trade and you have to go back and ask questions. What was the problem? What was the issue? If you don't put so much effort into the analysis and recapping or looking back for the past week, analyzing the bad trades and the winning trades, what was working, what wasn't working, then you should really start to consider doing that, because that's what really helped me elevate my trading game. And right now you can see on the screen that currently we are in a drawdown, but I did the full technical analysis, I did the fundamentals. I put more emphasis on the fundamentals this week and every single week during the NFP, because gold is heavily correlated with monetary policy, and monetary policy is derived from NFP, from jobs data, from CPI. So I put more emphasis on that, and based on my few years experience and education, this is what I see. If it goes against me, then I have to ask questions. What was the problem? And I will ask those questions if it goes against me. So George,
the euro is climbing again.
Sorry?
The euro is climbing. The Swiss is also climbing.
We had the euro USD position long.
It also dropped. So
Yeah,
I see now it's getting up again.
Oh, look at this beautiful lamp pattern. So we had this entry trade on euro USD this morning, haven't we? We also had a GU, which it didn't hit stop loss, but it is really massaging. So, and you know, this should go up because it's a dollar negative news, the NFP data. So GBP should climb up. But going back to gold, it's not looking good. So George Stratford from YouTube said jobs data wasn't that bad once you analyze the data. Take a watch at what CNBC are saying. Be my guest, George. I'm not listening to CNBC for various reasons. I'd rather listen to Financial Times and Bloomberg. And you know, looking at the jobs data, I mean, if you can explain this to me, how it wasn't as bad as expected. So it's half of what was expected and forecasted. So, you know, I wouldn't imagine more into this jobs data and try to explain why it wasn't as bad, because what really matters, I mean, you shouldn't, I don't care who looks at the data and says it wasn't as bad. What I really care is about what Jay Powell and the Fed is going to say, how bad, because they have to decide, they have the privilege to decide about how bad the jobs data was, and that's all it matters, because the gold market doesn't care about my opinion, doesn't care about your opinion. What the gold market cares and the gold price cares and investors and you know, all the traders in the world care about is what the Fed is going to say. So for this jobs data, we need to wait for a policy response, and I'm looking forward to see what the Fed has to say, because they clearly said we're going to increase the tapering. Didn't say how many billions, but currently it's 15 billions per month versus 120 billion. So it roughly would take about 8 months to reduce and withdraw all of the excess money from the market. Thanks, Aussie Trader. I see your comment. It would take 8 months. If they elevate this and increase, then it's you know, you should look into the data. Sorry, I'm just reading a YouTube comment. I mean, compare year on year jobs data. I mean, are you seriously fucking comparing annual jobs data to 2020 when we had literally unemployment at decades high? You shouldn't be. Oh god. I mean, comparing anything this year to last year on year figures, it's gonna be suicide in trading. I mean, how can you compare it to 2020, Chowdhury? Seriously. You know, everything was down. Unemployment was up. Jobs data was down, so people were not working. So how can you compare it to 2021 when everything is reopened? It's insane. Zakai, the Fed is going to say something on the 14th and 15th of December, because they're going to have a big meeting, and we're going to see a lot of volatility on 14th and 15th of December. So until then, we might see some official statement release. Who knows? Yeah. So yeah, someone just messaged that you know, it almost hit stop loss. Yes, of course, because I'm keeping a tight stop loss. If it hits stop loss, I'm not gonna trade, and that's it. End of the day, because I made everything within my power, fundamental and technical analysis. So that's it. But if you want to be really conservative, wait for this trend line to be broken.
Well, I think we need a good bullish price action in the weekly time frame to go up to 1800 and even more.
Yeah. Definitely, we need to see some kind of break of structure. I'm just observing the market now and trying to think why was the reaction was so muted for these bad job numbers data.
Can you believe that I just bought it in 1877? It just did my stop loss 70. I just saw like $2 to $5 in profit and then boom.
Yeah, that's why you should be a bit more cautious during NFP, because price always whiplashes and moves. Today's range, it's about 110 pips, moving from 1778 all the way down to 1766. So it's 117 pips movement on a smaller time frame, just the NFP effect. So you should be ready for this.
Yeah, sure. It's okay for me. It's not a problem. We can get it back in the next week, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, one winning or losing trading day should not affect the overall profitability.
Exactly. And even though that 2 months ago I traded NFP again and I just made a profit of 3,000. It was a good profit for me. Yeah.
That's good money. I'm just watching that. When are we going to have the CPI?
Next week, I think.
Yes, I think Thursday or Friday. CPI, yeah. So this is going to be the big market mover. Asal, do you remember what happened last CPI live trading?
Yeah, I remember.
That was a good trading session, wasn't it?
Yeah, I make good money.
Yeah. Okay, it seems like that we have 1766. So far it's looking like a support. However, I wouldn't trust too much. I'm still in a buy position, currently in a bit of a drawdown. But probably next week we're gonna have some better impulse moves and bigger trades.
Thomas, does ISM service PMI affect on gold a lot?
I haven't looked at it because I mainly trade around, or I mainly follow CPI, and mainly looking at the NFP, CPI and these numbers, but the purchasing manager index, anything above, so all the reading above 50 is considered as expansion of the economy. Anything below 50 considered as a contraction of the economy. So the first one is good, the second one is bad. So the first one is good, that the economy is expanding. That should be dollar bullish, which should be negative for gold. If anything, we're talking about the PMI, so anything reading below the 50, it's bearish for dollar, bullish for gold. So Samuel Messil asked, my entry on gold, my friend, was, where is it? It was 1773.6. So my entry was this. I'm keeping a tight stop loss at 1765. And take profit is at, if it goes up to 1800, I would be happy to close all the positions. but you know, this is really mute to the fact of the NFP, so I'm not going to move my stop loss any lower. I'm not going to try to buy the dip, absolutely not after NFP, because we have two possible entry levels. The first one is at 17.55, the second one is at 17.23, somewhere around here, 17.24, and I couldn't see anything in between, but you see that there is a massive downside potential, so I'm not going to try to guess the dip. It's not my style. Right guys, so I think we had enough fun during the live stream. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, and thank you everyone in the Zoom meeting. I hope you know, you logged in some profits or cut the losses. I'm still expecting gold to go up. If you want to be really conservative, wait until 1776 breaks. 4-hour candle close consistently above this level, and then wait for the retest, because if it breaks, it's going to break with an impulse move to the upside. I'm currently in a buy position, but you know, currently in a drawdown. It's not a problem. And I wish everyone a good weekend, guys. If you have any question, drop me a message on Telegram. It's only for the Zoom members. Yeah, I wish you a good weekend, guys, and have a relaxing one and enjoy.
Thank
you so much. Thank you so much.
Good
Thank
for
you,
all.
Thomas.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Beautiful.
Bye.
Zoom people.
Thank you.
Okay. People in YouTube, I wish you a good weekend, guys. You know, gold is a bit muted right now, so I wouldn't enter into buy or sell positions. Let the market have its direction, and let's see what it wants to do. I wish everyone a good weekend, and see you next week. Probably gonna do some live Zoom Friday, definitely during the CPI. Maybe Wednesday as well. Have a good weekend and enjoy. See you later, guys. Bye bye.